Good morning, everybody, and this is your Dow Jones day trade setup for today. So we kind of got to move down to the downside, but didn't really pay attention to any of these levels, kept plummeting through the levels, and then eventually sort of picked up this area here, which happened on the 24th of June, and we kind of formed a range bar here. Not entirely convinced that this chaos is over just yet. But one thing to bear in mind, if we use our Fibonacci, 61.8 is right here. So just keep that in the back of your mind. This may turn out to be a pullback, and a decent pullback that we've been waiting for. And these reversals are typically very, very noisy. So when you're moving down in a direction, you typically get a lot of noise with a decent pullback and then move up. If you look at the daily, we had this engulfing bar yesterday. This morning we've already started with the green bar, but there's nothing to really write home about there. But look at the oscillators. We have divergence here on the daily as well. And then the last thing to point out on the daily is that is actually our trend line that was formed. So we've still got some merit for a move to the downside, but one other little level that I'm very interested in is this previous breakout. So that is the zone that we're paying attention to. If we just drop down to the 3 hour, you'll see a bit of a different picture here. So you can see low, lower, low, low, higher, low. So we've got diversions here. Obviously, we're just going to adjust that because that is the line in the sand. We need to see a break above that on the 3 hour and support for us to start targeting these tails to the upside first. So that's the scenario we've got here. We've got a separation of the oscillators and a crossover. So this could be seen as a double bottom forming, but I'm reluctant to actually call that just yet with what's going on. So let's get down to the hour. So yesterday, we didn't really, there's no real level that we've got there. So to me, this should have actually been the level there. And you can see how we missed it. Okay, so just below there, that's kind of what we were looking for, is some decent level. But again, up here was probably the better bet for chasing short. So hindsight being a perfect science, should have probably looked at that. Oscillators were grouped to the upside, and we'll probably see something on the 15-minute as well, which would give us the indication that we needed to get in there, just the 155 EMA. So not really. I'd prefer to be below the moving averages. So nothing really there, nothing close by that's indicating that that was an opportunity. Price action here, inside bar rejection, confirmation bar, pin bar type thing there. So yeah, hindsight, entry below here and a stop just above the structure. Treat that as a double top, 140 point risk. So there was probably an opportunity there if we were paying attention to it. But for me at the moment, look where we're coming up to. This is the previous low of Monday, and it is a zone. Let's just put both levels in. Going to do that. So we are sort of rejecting this area. Oscillators all grouped to the upside. So now this is looking like an area to be looking for the shorts again, and that would be below this pin bar here, but not this time of the morning. So wait for the European Open at least to see what happens. If you look at the hour, you can see that is a fairly decent area for a move to the downside, another move to the downside. Anything concerning me is look at these buyers and sellers coming in around here yesterday. So pay attention to this area. You've also got that area there and that tail there. So you've got quite a bit of structure here. Trend is down on the hour, so you want to be short. You want to be running short, but you want to run short from higher up. And that's kind of what's transpiring at the moment. So we've got a fairly decent move up, bit of a exhaustion bar. Now we've got rejection and things like that here. So pay attention to this area. This is 31,985, 31,960. if we get above this during the European Open, then pay attention up here. Oh, that's the only setup that I can see transpiring. The divergence here does worry me though. So whatever you do, make sure that you have some kind of a proper exit plan. So in other words, your stop loss is really tight, because there is hourly divergence, there's 3-hour divergence here. And that could mean that we have a potential double bottom forming. Obviously, we need to get above 32,400 area for us to validate that, and then we've got a pretty smooth ride all the way up to test these tails up here. So pay attention to that. That is the one scenario, but we could also just get a grouping to the upside of the oscillators and then a rejection for another leg down. I just want to see lastly if there is another target. The only target that's here that I'd be looking at is 31,550. If we drop below that, then I'd be looking at this trend line. Okay, so that's kind of my view. Just pay attention to what we're doing at the moment, but be very, very critical and be very methodical about this, because it could trap you. So it could very easily just shoot through everything here and move to the upside. Lastly, just an afterthought here. If you've got time, pay attention to the 5 minute. You see on the 5 minute, you've really got a trend reversal on the 5 minute. So you could find support down here and attack this area again for another move to this area. So that may also be an opportunity to pay attention to. But then again, yesterday you had the 5 minute trend up and then a plummet once the US market opened. So could be a similar setup. So during the European session, aim to look for up here and then wait for the US session and see what rejections you get at this level for a move down. And that is at 32,090. Anyway, lots of confusion, there's lots of merit for this being a bottom, and there's lots of merit for this just being a flag that's forming for a pullback. So mixed signals, be careful, and keep those stops as tight as you can. But that's kind of the play I've got for today. If we get rejections here, possibly another move to the downside. If we get through this area and we start, just carry on grinding higher on the lower time frames, then go with the trend. Just look for the trend on the lower time frames, whatever time frame you're trading, and trade off that. Anyway, hope that helps, and we'll catch up with you tomorrow morning. Cheers for now.